This is a folding knife I made, and to get the layout of this piece of micarta is more difficult than it seems because I can get the outside dimensions of it pretty easily just by drawing around it, but to get that inside dimension of where the blade fits in is kind of difficult. So I'm going to show you how I use a CAD program to get that almost perfect. This is Autodesk Fusion 360, so I'm going to insert or attach a canvas under Insert. The face, I'm going to select top. I'm in the top view up here. Then I'm going to select the image. I have taken it. This I just took with my smartphone camera. I tried to be about as directly above it as possible. That keeps the distortion, so it's going to be more accurate. So I imported it, and as you can see, it's far too small. So you can mess with this with the scaling thing, but I'm just going to click OK here. And so I have actually already scaled one, and I did it by making a sketch. You can see this line here, and I took a measurement when I took the picture from the center of this hole to the end of this, and you can see this isn't perfect, but it's pretty close from the center of this hole to here. And so all I do is I just go in and edit feature, and I can just mess with these scaling numbers until this looks about right, and then I can get pretty close. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm going to hide that sketch, and then I'm going to use the spline command, and I will select this face. Now I laid out where I want to follow. I want to follow this line here, then I want to follow these, and then I want to follow the outside of this handle. I'm going to start here. So you can see it messed up a little bit. I'm going to turn off snap on my grid and pick about there. Then I'm going to select, the more points the better, so I'm going to select about there. And then, as you can see, this is, I'm not exactly sure what the math behind this command is, but it does, but it seems to follow these curves pretty well. You can you just go along clicking on the line. Everywhere, I think, supposedly where a curve ends or when the curves change, something like that. As you can see, I just followed that, and I got a pretty good follow. Now, I cannot make these 90-degree turns. As you can see, they go all wonky and mess up. So I'm just going to click Enter, and then it leaves it there. So I'm going to go right-click, drag up to repeat the command. I'll select there, and then for this, I want it slightly curved inwards, so I'm going to follow that. Then, once again, I can't make that turn, so I'm going to click Enter, right-click, drag up, start on that line, and continue doing this around the part. So there you go. You can see that followed pretty well. I want to come back to about right there. That curve I could make because it's a rounded corner versus a 90 degree, and then I'm just going to finish this off. Click right there, Enter. So now I'm going to go around and look at this. See, this line's off by a little bit, so I can grab this blue thing and pull it in a little bit, and I can move around and mess around with these. Click on the dot and pull in the thing. So you actually, if you feel like you did a little wrong, don't worry about it too much at the time, because it's pretty easy to mess around with afterwards, which is great because you can get it just the way you want it. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to stop sketch, hide the canvas, then E for extrude on my keyboard, click on that, 0.1, it doesn't really matter, and there you go, I have this piece, and then I can export it to a drawing from design. I'll go to a normal piece of paper, click OK. This brings into the drafting, or the drawing part, top. There you go, you can see this. You want to make sure your scale is on 1:1, which it is. I'm just going to click OK. Now I have an outline of that piece. It's should be pretty accurate. I haven't actually measured it to be completely sure, but now I can just print out this page and glue this onto the top of whatever material I'm going to cut out, and cut on the lines, and it'll be the right size. That's just a little trick for figuring out a shape of something without being able to trace it physically. Hope you found this useful.